This is actually the only shirt I own that's close to being zombie related. It's good. It's good enough, right? I mean, I think so. And as always, welcome to my safe game, and thank you guys for joining me for another review on the Black Gay Comic Geek channel. We are here talking about the latest movie coming out of Netflix called Army of the Dead, and I want to say thank you first and foremost to Netflix for giving me the opportunity to get an early screener for this movie. And yeah, this movie is the latest project produced by Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder basically almost did everything for this movie. He produced the movie with his wife Deborah Snyder. He directed the movie. He wrote the movie. He was the cinematographer for this movie. Like, this was his movie. And I did say that this movie's coming out for Netflix, but I do believe this weekend, it's coming out in theaters first, and then it's going to Netflix next week. So if you guys are interested in going to the movie theater, you could definitely catch it in the movie theaters on May 14th, which is a couple days from now. But if you're not, you'll catch it on Netflix next week. And I thought this movie was a sequel to Zack Snyder's, I believe it was 2009, his movie Dawn of the Dead. But I looked it up and Zack Snyder said that this movie is not intended to be a sequel, even though it shares the name of the Dead, Army of the Dead, Dawn of the Dead. Even though they share a similar title, they're not the same movie. But I haven't seen Dawn of the Dead, so I can't say, well, you could pretend it is. You could say it takes place in the same universe. So yeah, if you haven't seen Dawn of the Dead, you don't have to worry about that going into this movie. But if you couldn't tell, obviously from the intro of this video and the title, Army of the Dead, this movie is a zombie movie. And Army of the Dead tells the story of, after a zombie outbreak in Las Vegas, a group of mercenaries takes the ultimate gamble by venturing into the quarantine zone for the greatest heist ever. And so based on that synopsis, you know everything that you need to know for this movie. This was a heist movie with zombies. And all of my ride or die fans that have been with my channel from the beginning, you already know what I'm about to say. The things that I love in my fantasy are blood, sex, gore, and magic. Yes, with a K. And the movie didn't really have a lot of sex, but it had everything else. And even though there wasn't technically magic and sorcery or anything like that, it's a zombie movie. Zombies don't exist in real life, so it's fucking magic. And so obviously, with that said, blood and gore, this movie is definitely not for kids. This movie is definitely very, very rated R because there were a lot of brutal murders and brutal kills. So, I mean, if you're okay letting your kids watch that, I mean, I was watching bloody and gory movies when I was a kid and I didn't turn out to be a serial killer or anything like that. I turned out to be a YouTuber. So maybe if you let your kids watch gory and bloody movies, they'll be a YouTuber too. And so with that said, like, I had a lot of fun watching this movie. Like this, I can go out on a limb and say this is probably one of the best zombie movies I have seen in a long time, maybe even ever. And I'm not saying that this movie is the best of the best, but it's definitely up there. Like, honestly, with the way and the things that Zack Snyder did with the zombies in this movie, it's something that I haven't really seen before in a movie. Like, this is like 28 days later times 10. And so what that means, as they showed in the trailer, like, these zombies are fast. They can dodge your attacks when you try to kill them. They can dodge your gunfire. They're smart and they're organized. They can plan. They're not just mindless creatures. They are creatures with a mind. And honestly, to me, I know it goes back and forth between people like, which zombies do you prefer? Do you prefer the slow zombies or the fast zombies? Me, I'm more terrified of the fast moving, smart thinking zombies. Because at least the slow zombies, even if you run out of bullets, they're not that big of a threat if it's just like one of them. As long as you can maybe run away, or you could probably take down one. But these smart zombies, just one is a threat. So imagine an entire town full of them. And almost similar to Zombieland, but not really. There are different types of zombies. Like, not all of the zombies are smart and organized, but most of them are. Like, there are some of the zombies that are just the slow moving, not as scary zombies, but those are not the ones that are the big threat in this movie. And then also something that you learn from the trailer, which kind of reminds me of like The Walking Dead, where you think of like the Walker polar bear. You also have a zombie tiger. You also have a zombie horse in this movie too. So I loved seeing, I was like, is that a zombie horse? Like, that is cool. And so yeah, as I said, this movie is a heist movie starring Dave Bautista as the leader of the ragtag group of heisters, or whatever you want to call them. And the entire area of Los Angeles, quick edit, definitely should have said Las Vegas because the movie takes place in Vegas. Viva Las Vegas, has been cordoned off because it's now populated by nothing but zombies. However, they were hired to sneak into the Las Vegas area because trapped under one of the casinos called the Olympus is a vault filled with, I think it was $250 million. And so if they were to successfully retrieve the money, they would be able to get a cut and all that other stuff and live their great best lives. And so that's essentially the premise of the movie. And with these types of movies, with heist movies or any type of zombie movie in general, you always have the characters that you know are gonna die. You know people are gonna die in this movie, especially if it's a rated R movie. And so yes, there are characters that do die in this movie. Obviously, I would be disappointed if they don't. I'm not going to say which characters die in this movie, but the thing that I did enjoy about this movie, even though there were a lot of characters, I kind of cared about a lot of the characters that died. Like, even though you don't get a lot from the characters, they have a good amount of personality. So when they do die, I was like, oh no, not them. Like, come on, like, I hope they make it. Like, oh no. And that made the movie much more watchable. Funny enough, like, this movie was like 2.5 hours long, and I cared more about some of these characters that didn't have that much screen time than I cared about Carly in Falcon and Winter Soldier. Because spoilers if you haven't seen that, but when she died at the end, I was just like, okay, who cares? And being that this movie is essentially led by Dave Bautista, and I don't think it's a secret, and I think Dave Bautista says it himself, he's not the greatest actor, but I think the strength of this movie and the strength of Zack Snyder's directing is that he utilized him in such a great way that, especially with this movie being an action heist zombie movie, I feel like the strengths of Dave Bautista were exemplified in this movie, and you didn't really notice a lot of the not bad, but you didn't really notice the weakness of his acting in this movie. And then not only just that, but he was surrounded by so many good actors and an entirely talented ensemble that it also helped to elevate him as well in his performance. And as I mentioned, with this being a completely organized town of zombies, they have a leader and they have a hierarchy and things like that. And so even though the main villain, or why did I use quotes? He is the villain. Even though the main zombie villain didn't speak because he's a zombie, and the society of zombies didn't speak, you pretty much got everything that you needed to get and understood everything about this society of zombies. And not to say I felt for them, but I still got a sense of their characters. And that was a great thing that they included in the writing. Like, it did make me enjoy seeing those zombie characters. And that main zombie, like, I was scared. If it was me, I'd have been like, I'm dead. Like, I don't know what else to say. There's no way I would survive. Like, funny enough, there was this one character that they tried to bring into the ragtag group of, again, heisters, for the lack of a better word. And he was like, wait, you guys are serious about this? Absolutely not. Like, y'all are crazy. All of you guys are gonna die. Like, this is ridiculous. I would have been that character. I'd have been like, hell motherfucking no. There is not enough money in the world that will make me do some shit like this. You also had Omari Hardwick, who played a pretty significant role. Most people would know him from Power. I don't really watch Power. I've seen Omari Hardwick in other movies as well, like Spell, which I did review recently. I didn't really care for that movie, but if you haven't seen my review, definitely check it out. Support your boy, like and interact for the algorithm. But yeah, overall, like, I had a blast watching this movie. I had fun. I would totally watch this movie again, and maybe, I mean, I am fully vaccinated. I did get both shots, Moderna. Maybe one day I'll probably go see it in the theaters. Like, I'll check and see if, like, the theater is completely empty and I'll sit, like, in the way back. Because a movie like this, I would totally love to see it on the big screen as opposed to my 52-inch non-4K television. The only negative thing that I will say about this movie, it's not really that negative. It's just my personal preference. But like I mentioned, a lot of characters did die. A lot of characters that you're rooting for died. But one of the characters that made it out on the end, I was just like, that was the character I liked the least. I was like, I was like, oh, this is the character that survives? Oh, come on, ew. And then also, I do feel like towards the end, they tried to throw in a last minute love story that really came out of nowhere. And to me, based on everything that you saw in the movie beforehand, it made no sense because you're like, wait, where did this come from? Where was this in the other 2 hours of the movie? Like, it would have been great if they explored this a little bit more because I was interested in it, but it came out of nowhere and it didn't really make any sense. Like, they could have probably just took that part out or developed it a little bit more. But like I said, I had fun. The music and the score in this movie was pretty fun. And I would say Army of the Dead is, for me, a blockbuster. So the question is, well, obviously you guys haven't seen it yet because it's not out yet, but the question is, will you guys see Army of the Dead? Are you excited about seeing Army of the Dead? And when you do see Army of the Dead, come back to this video and let me know in the comment section below what you thought about Army of the Dead. Also, if you could do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button, it'll really help with the YouTube algorithm and getting my video out there and my channel out there. And if this is one of your first time checking out one of my videos, please check out the other videos on my channel. I do plan on reviewing Jupiter's Legacy. I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet. And I also plan on reviewing The Mitchells versus the Machine. I think that's what it's called. And I will check out Shadow and Bone and perhaps do a review on that as well. So be on the lookout for those. I'm not going to say when they're coming out because I have to watch them and I don't know when I'm going to be able to finish watching them and all that other stuff. But be on the lookout for them. And so with that, if you're interested in hearing my thoughts for those reviews and you like this review and you want to see more, hit that subscribe button and hit that bell notification button so you're alerted every single time I post a new video, and tell your friends, families, and neighbors about my channel to help me continue to grow. Guys, I am almost at 4,000 subscribers. Holy crap. With your help, I can get there. 100 subscribers to go, but thank you so much for those that have been with me from the beginning. Thank you so much to those that joined me today or yesterday or whenever that will join this channel after I post this video. Thank you guys so much. Like 4,000 subscribers. Holy hell. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining and being comfortable to be in my safe haven. And as always, I will catch you guys next time.